All right. Hello. This is kind of going to be a little bit different from what I usually do on my channel, but I just got a new desktop from CLX Gaming. I'm not sponsored, by the way. I'm just sharing what I've experienced. So I ordered this computer on November the 4th, and today's the 13th, and they're really good at getting things done on time. So anyway, I waited all day for this, and now we're going to open this and start setting it up. Yeah, this is the same X-Acto blade that I use for working on some of my model ships. I will have to get up for a second to make sure that to get this open, because my desk really isn't that big compared to this box. The box is bigger than I expected it to be. According to FedEx, it was 41 pounds. And yeah, my desk really isn't the greatest, but it is what it is. The good thing is, I only had to buy the tower because I already have a monitor, mouse, and keyboard, at least that are good enough for my current use. It's not a professional setup, but it works. So I've been kind of thinking for a while that I might try playing some games potentially live. And please excuse how much opening the box is affecting the lighting, because honestly, I'm relying on a couple of lamps here for my lighting. Okay. So got the box open. I will have to put this on the floor so I can. Basically, we got a box inside a box. Got these packing materials, which nobody cares about that. At least to the extent that they're kind of getting in the way, but I'm glad they're there, because I've been in the trucking industry before, and I know from experience that FedEx drivers long haul are really not the greatest of drivers. Let me just put it that way. Seen one cut across 3 lanes over in Charlotte once. Anyway, if there's any truck drivers watching, please drive carefully. So now I got this box. It's pretty big. Oops, I have to fix that. My whole setup here is kind of ad hoc. I basically have these curtains attached to the ceiling with push pins, because that's kind of just what I have to do. Over time, I'd like to get the place a little better looking, but I'm managing a household on my own. I'm a full-time college student, so in fact, I had to rush back home from class today because FedEx originally said it was supposed to be sometime between 10 and 2. Then they said it was going to be between 1 and 3, and I ended up getting it at like almost 4 o'clock. So it is what it is. It's November. Holidays are coming up. Everybody's ordering things early. Really did a good job on packing this. Let's see how I can. Yeah, so they're packing it with this like foam material. It's not exactly the same, but it's pretty similar to some of the stuff that I see used in model railroading sometimes. kind of have to wrestle all this out. I don't like this. I don't like destroying boxes right off the bat because I've had situations before where I've gotten something and then I needed to send it in again. But they have this foam packed in so tightly around here that I basically can't get it out. Might have to see if opening up the other end of the box works. And sorry you can't see what I'm doing here, but like I said, it's just my desk. Destroying the foam, I don't particularly care about. Welcome to those who are tuning in. I've never really done much other than rail fanning videos before. I've done a couple of gaming videos, but for those of you who aren't aware, my camera quit last year when I was out of town on a business trip. Basically, I was in training as a truck driver out of North Carolina, and for some reason my camera just decided it didn't like the humidity and decided to die. So I managed to get it out of the box so far. So this is the computer. Remove. That's what they say about here. Please remove the foam inserts from the inside of the system before first use. If you have any questions, please contact technical support. Well, yeah, removing the packing materials might help. They're not wrong about that. A while ago, somebody I know had got a new car, and that I don't know if you know, but in newer cars, with all these touchscreens and stuff, they have protective film over it, like kind of like what this has, and basically my friend was not having trouble with getting the touchscreen to work, so it just kept screwing up, and what it turns out was she just never took that protective film off. Okay, so I'm doing the stream from my laptop, and I can pull up I'm going to pull up the specs on here. This is the power supply, by the way. Going through all the materials I have. Quick start guide. Important to read this first. Removing internal foam if installed in your system. It's got a hinged door on the side. Still trying to open these specs because I saved them in a notepad file a while ago. And I'll have to pull up my email in a minute because they gave me a free upgrade on a couple of aspects after the order. So my processor is an AMD Ryzen 7 5700. The GPU is an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 5060, 8 gigabytes. This, I believe, is some sort of it's a remote for something. Stating the obvious here, but so now let's see how to open the side of this here. I have to remove the film first. They use real glass on this, tempered glass specifically, but real glass nonetheless. So you have to be careful with these as you would with any type of glass. Little hinged handle here. Good thing I have a trash can right here so I can get rid of this film. I have to open the door actually to get the film fully out because some of it sort of stuck on the inside of the door. They have it on the inside of the door too, by the way. This stuff is so much static electricity. There's another cable here, which I have to check the back of. Okay, I'm going to have to get a different monitor because either I'm going to have to get a different monitor or some kind of cable adapter because you see my old. I'm going to try and show you guys what I'm dealing with the cord on my existing monitor. I had no idea that these things weren't used anymore, but yeah, I basically have this older thing. Yeah, that's all I have is HDMI. Anyway. As for mods, I'm still small enough right now that honestly, no offense, I don't think I need any more mods. I'm still trying to get this all figured out. And the thing is, I have an HDMI cable, but it's HDMI to HDMI. So, I'll check the back of my monitor here. Okay, no, it doesn't. Okay, so looks like unless I can have the money to make a quick trip to Best Buy, I'm not going to be able to get this fully running today. But I can do my best. Connecting the monitor. I'm gonna have to look this up real quick. Excuse me. Okay, good thing. Okay, oh, Walmart has them for like $4, so that's very good. But before I end the stream and make a quick run through horrible rush hour traffic to get my system up and running, I'm gonna get everything else running. Now the mouse that I already have is USB, and so is the keyboard, so that's gonna be easy. The thing that I'm wondering though is what's this for? Is USB. Okay, this is just a declaration of conformity with the FCC. But yes, so I'm going to go through my specs here real quick. I already listed off the processor and GPU. Motherboard is ASRock B550 Phantom Gaming 4 ATX. 32 gig of RAM. 4 terabytes as solid state drive is my main storage with a secondary 1 terabyte SSD. Standard cooling. Power supply is 600 watt. Network connectivity. It'll run Windows 11. And I spent over $1,700 on this, including taxes and shipping. I have a feeling this is going to be worth it because I've really been itching to run Railroader lately. Everybody. I don't know if everybody's familiar with just the Railfan community in general, but Railroader is kind of the big thing. For a while, it was Railroads Online, but that game's effectively, when it comes to development, more or less dead in the water right now. It's real sad. You have some real good games out there that are basically being abandoned by the developers. And, it's playable, and I enjoy it. But I'm not sure how moddable it is, though. Anyway. So we got some sort of RGB system. Okay. Remote for the RGB system. So plug and play. Wireless connection. Yeah, I had a Wi-Fi. Yeah. I had something for Wi-Fi that was supposed to be installed on here, but anyone remember CDs? I used to have a CD for everything. Not gonna lie, I kind of miss those days. I still have copies of stuff like Microsoft Office 95 that my parents gave me. Some other stuff too. I think my dad has an old version of AutoCAD somewhere. Excuse me. I kicked up a lot of dust trying to get things cleaned up. My monitor, when I pulled it out of the garage a few weeks ago. You ever see those shows where like somebody pulls an old car out of a barn to restore, and like it's all covered in dust? That's honestly what my monitor looked like. The keyboard I had to clean off because I was using it on my old laptop, and I left it for a while in my living room, and then a pipe blew and caused a bunch of mold in there, so I had to clean that off. Houses are expensive. The one thing I like about these old style of cables is, if you see you got these screws, these physically screw in, so it's harder for it to come undone. I don't think. Yeah, so this and this are. When I get this fully set up, it's going to be on the side of my desk partially because my desk honestly isn't the greatest. But it's a little bit wobbly. I need to get a new one. Yeah, there should have been a. I must have missed something in the box. Oh, that's weird. Excuse me. So I'm basically just going to lay out everything I need to work with here. Kind of do a little test fit. Power cable. Another thing I learned about, especially desktops over the years, is you have to plug them like directly into the wall. If you try and plug them into a power strip, it's not going to get enough power, and there's a chance it might. If you use a low quality power strip, there's a chance it might even cause a fire, which of course nobody wants. So it doesn't necessarily matter if you're just using some like notebook like what I'm using, at least for my live stream. But this laptop is the sort of one that I can just like take to a coffee shop to work. Whereas so for context, my old gaming laptop I had to have the battery removed because it leaked. So I basically ran it as a portable desktop for years. And then eventually, over the summer, I kind of just died. Yeah, I mentioned CDs earlier because they had a thing about a support CD. What I'm reading here is the quick installation guide for the motherboard. Since there's no instructions on what to do with these extra cables, I'm just going to have to assume that these are some kind of spare. I'm going to use my phone for light here. Yeah, I don't see anything inside here that's disconnected to where I'd have to put in another cable. Anyway, I am going to be wrapping things up once I get all the protective film off. I might do another live stream later once I have it up and running. That is going to take a hot minute though, because I'm going to have to all of a sudden remember what my Wi-Fi password is, which which is its own hassle. But I had to change my Wi-Fi like twice in the last year, so I think it's a little more understandable than most of the time that I can't remember my password. Another little life tip: don't change your password to anything other than what's on the actual router. I've gone through this before when I lived in Illinois, that if you change it and then you forget it, then you have no way of remembering it, and you have to call your telecom company to get it reset, which nobody wants to do that. Anyway, the reason why the curtains behind me look kind of weird is because I had to put them up around a ceiling fan. So on top of the computer here, we have, looks like the power light LED USB headphone jack. Nice to see that those are still a thing. Looks like a jack for a mic, a USB slot, and a USB 3.0 slot. Yeah. Overall, I'm going to say that I'm pretty happy with the customer service I got on this computer from CLX. Like I said, they were very prompt. They had it. I ordered on the 4th, and it was shipped on Monday. I had them ship it with FedEx Ground. I could have had it overnight, but I'm not paying $100 for shipping. So yeah, apparently they took it east on I-40 through. CLX is in Kansas, Wichita, Kansas. Which, by the way, if you don't know, Boeing also has a plant out there. For us rail fans, that's where those famous trains of 737 fuselages come from. Anyway, let's see. So on the back here we have a bunch of USB slots. This is a very old-fashioned type of port for usually a keyboard or mouse. HDMI here. Then you have something for a Wi-Fi antenna, although I'm not 100% sure whether that's really needed here. You got more USB. You got, looks like an Ethernet port. You have the red, green, and blue. Looks like this is real old-fashioned stuff. Then you have a HDMI, and this is the one where the monitor is supposed to go in. And I believe this. I am not 100% sure what this is. So, I don't mess with things that I don't know what they are. Back here, you got I can't see, but there's a slot for the power cable, on-off switch for silent mode, and the switch for the RGB lighting, which it's included. I just didn't go all out on it. I don't really care that much about certain aesthetic things if it doesn't affect performance. And, well, the nice thing about desktops is if I want to upgrade it later on, I'm able to. Other than all the ports, basically what we got is a bunch of open slots here that help with circulation. I got a spam text. Basically, any inbox these days is basically all spam. Obviously, this would be better if I had better lighting, but I'm just going to show this off before I go. I have to move my mouse. So you have a nice view inside here. I hope you got the fans at the front. But yeah, so now that I've unboxed this, I'm gonna go and get my cable adapter so I can get this thing up and running. After that, I'm probably gonna have to spend a good week just installing software, transferring files from external hard drives. So anyway, thanks for tuning in, and I'll probably see you again sometime fairly soon. Thanks.